Hi, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah, perfect. Let's start. Uh, so yesterday we saw about the introduction of SQL. We created database. We activated the database. We created the table. We understood what are all the data type. I mean, what is basically the data type is, and how many data types are there. And we created the table. We inserted the data and we display the data by using select command. Right. This is what we did yesterday. Now, first, let me once again activate our database because as you can see currently other database is in activation. So once again, I'll execute use SQL demo. This is the database name which we are going to use. So let me activate. Now we can use this database, right? So before getting into the next topic, first let me tell you one more point here. Yesterday I didn't explain about what is char and varchar, right? Let me explain about that. Maybe here only I'll explain. See. So what is char and what is varchar? First of all, whenever we are using character data, these are all the these are the data types which we will use. It is one is char and the other one is varchar. Suppose, for example, I defined a data type as I'm using employee name column, that is a character data. So I define char as a data type for employee name. As I said yesterday, for every time whenever we are defining character data, we need to define size also. What is this size? Basically, this size only allocates the memory, right? Here we are allocating 10 bytes of memory for this employee name. That means every time we can able to insert up to 10 characters in this particular employee name column. If we are exceeding that, if we are trying to insert more than 10 characters, it won't accept. Okay, I'll show you that error also. So what is char in a sense? Suppose whenever I define char here, what will happen in the backend? Just to show you, I'm taking one box. Okay, and I'm dividing it into 10 equal parts. Okay, so here 10 bytes of memory we define. That is the reason I took 10 divisions. In each byte of memory, we can enter one character. So if I'm entering John as a word, I'll enter J in this box. O, H, N, right? 4-letter word, so it will accept I entered John. Whenever I'm entering John, that is here 4 bytes of memory is used. Okay, but as I already defined 10 bytes of memory, whatever left over here for me, that is 6 bytes of memory is left over. I'm not using them, right? So what will happen here, whenever we are defining char, irrespective of the name, whatever we use, whatever leftover bytes of memory will be there, in that leftover bytes of memory, blank spaces will be given like this. So irrespective of how many letter word we entered, complete memory will be used whenever we are using char. Here I just entered 4-letter word, 4 bytes of memory is used, but leftover 6 bytes of memory is also being used just by filling with blank spaces here. If I enter, suppose for example, I enter Ram as a word, then at that time 3 bytes will be used, remaining 7 bytes of memory. In that 7 bytes of memory, blank spaces will be given. So overall, complete 10 bytes of memory. How much memory, how much size we define here? The complete size will be used for whenever we are using char as a data type. Okay. So with this, I can say here memory wastage is being done, right? My memory is being wasted because I don't want complete 10 bytes of memory. Only 4 bytes of are enough for John. But here, irrespective of that, 10 bytes is being used by char. Right, 10 bytes of memory is being used for the employee name column itself. Where if I if I defined char, suppose in the same box, instead of let me write here. instead of char, I used varchar. Example. I'll write it here. Okay. Suppose I used varchar and then I define the size as 10. So we have two types, right? Either I can use char or either I can use varchar. If I'm using varchar, what will happen? Again, as I defined 10 bytes of memory, 10 boxes I took. And suppose if I am using the same John as a word, here I'll use JOHN. Here also 4 bytes of memory I used. Whatever remaining 6 bytes of memory will be there. This will not be used for the employee name column. This will be given back to the database again. Okay. So I can say in varchar memory won't be wasted. How much? Suppose instead of 10, if I define 100 as size also, and if I use only 3 bytes of memory, remaining 97 bytes of memory won't be wasted. It will be given back to the database. Okay, like that. Whereas if I use char, whatever remaining, suppose I use char and I used char and in that I defined same 100 bytes, 100 as a size, then 97 bytes of memory is also wasted. Simply in each and every memory, it will be occupied with the blank spaces. So memory wastage will happen in char, whereas in varchar, memory wastage won't happen. Okay, that is the reason in real time we will use varchar. We will use varchar. In which scenarios we will use char? We can use char, that is okay. If you think, okay, I'm not entering much data, I'm not defining much size, that is okay. If some size is wasted, if some memory is wasted is also, that is okay. If you think, then you can use char. Or else in which scenarios you will use char, in the sense, if you know exactly what kind of data you're going to enter. Suppose maybe gender column. In gender, you will enter male, female like this only. So you know how many characters are needed to for this particular column, right? Then you define very low size accordingly, correct? Like that. If you know what kind of data you are entering, how many bytes is required, then for that you can use char, no problem. Okay. This is one difference, that is memory wasted in char. In varchar, memory won't be wasted. Okay. And the second difference is that in char, we can store up to 255 characters only. That is, I can define up to 255 only in the char. Whereas in varchar, I can use up to 64,535 characters. Okay. This is the second difference. So mostly in real time, we will prefer to use varchar because our memory won't be wasted here. How much size we defined also, whatever needed, that size only will be taken. The remaining size will be given back to the database. Okay, I hope I'm clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So yeah, we understood how to create the table, how to insert the data, how to display the data, and we understood about char and varchar also, right? Now, next, let me start a new concept. So for that, I'm opening a new file here. Our next concept is that sublanguage. Sublanguages. Hi, Sonali. I guess today you joined today only, right? Yesterday's class you didn't join, right? Can you hear me? If you joined today only, actually yesterday we started this demo classes. I gave small introduction yesterday. Okay. So if you needed, that is a very basic thing. How to create the tables, how to insert the data. Anyways, going forward, it will be repeated if needed, or else I suggest you to watch yesterday's demo video. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Now, today's concept is sublanguages. Basically, we have 5 types of sublanguages in SQL. Okay, so what are there in the sense? DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, DQL. Okay, these 5 types of sublanguages we have in SQL, and under each type we have some commands in it. Okay, so let's see one by one. The first one is DDL. Okay, DDL is nothing but data definition language. And the commands comes under DDL are create, drop, alter, truncate, and rename. Okay. These are all the commands comes under DDL. Just a second. Okay, so we have 5 commands under DDL, that is create, drop, alter, truncate, and rename. Before continuing, let me show you one picture first of all. Yeah, these are the SQL commands we have. Okay, we have 5 sublanguages, as I said, DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL, and under each sublanguage we have some commands. Basically, we have some commands in SQL, and all the commands are divided into these 5 types of sublanguages. Now we will understand each and every command in detail. Okay, so first is create command. Of course, create command we already understood yesterday by how to create. We saw about creating table syntax, right? Basically, what is create command in the sense? Use it to create any database object. Okay. Here, database object in the sense it can be tables, it can be views, stored procedures, like that. Okay. All of them we will call it as database objects. For now, we understood how to create the table. Yesterday only we saw the create table syntax. So I'm not repeating once again. Okay, we saw, right? Create table, table name. After that, within the parenthesis, we need to mention how many columns we want, and for each column name, we need to give the data type. Okay. So I'm not repeating that once again. And what is the syntax of creating views, stored procedures going forward? We will see whenever we are talking about that particular concepts. Okay. Next, let me explain about the drop command. Drop command is nothing but use it to remove any table permanently from the database. Okay. Suppose I created some table, then I realized that I don't want that table. Then if needed, I can remove that table permanently. On the one go, if I wanted to remove the table, then I'll use drop command. Syntax will be simple here. That is drop table, table name. That's it. So just to show you this drop command, let me create one more table, the same employees table maybe. Okay, I'll just change a little bit. Every time remember, our database names and table names should be unique. I cannot create once again the same table. If I create, it will say table already exists, right? So I need to change little bit. Maybe I'll change table name. I'll write it as employees1 just to show you how we are going to use drop command. Okay. So I'm creating the table once again. It got created now. Let me insert the data. As yesterday only we saw, I'm not writing once again the complete code. I'm just copying it from here. Okay. So I'm inserting the data. Employees1 I need to write, correct? And as I said yesterday only, SQL is case insensitive. We can use capital letters or small letters, no problem. Okay. Both are same. So I'm inserting the data. Okay, now let's display the data. To display the data, we will use select command, right? I need to write select star from employees1, correct? See, we got the table. We inserted 4 columns and 4 rows of data, right? Now, what I wanted to show you, how we are going to use drop command. So the syntax will be drop table, table name, right? Directly I'll write it as drop table employees1. Okay. Before that, let me refresh and let's check here. We have employees table and employees1 table, both tables, right? In this SQL demo data type.
sorry, database. Now let me execute this drop table. Okay, the table got dropped. Now let's refresh and check. See, we have only employees table. Employees one is removed from the database. Even now, if I execute this particular statement, it will throw me error stating that table doesn't exist because just now I dropped that table. Like that, whenever we don't need any table, or even whenever you wanted to remove the complete database also, you can use drop command. And to remove the database, let me write it here. Remove any table or database. Okay, better. Permanently from the database. Okay, or else I'll keep as it is. Database permanently. Okay, so now what is the syntax for using database? In the sense, drop database, database name. Okay, like this. If I don't want SQL demo complete database I wanted to remove, I can execute this particular thing, the complete database, and inside the database how many tables will be there, everything will be removed in one go. Okay, like that. This is about drop command. Okay, next we have alter command, but I hope I'm clear up to here.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Now let's see about maybe the size error. Okay, so what I said, how much, here we define size as 10, so we need to enter up to 10 characters only. Then what will happen if I'm entering more than 10 characters? Let's see what kind of error I'll get. Okay, I'm just copying this particular thing here. Employees, maybe employees, right? Employees one data I removed, I'm trying to insert in employees table itself. Already I have 4 rows, I'm entering some fifth row, I'm giving a name as something like this. Okay, because I said that in this employee name I defined only 10 characters. If I am entering more than 10 characters, what will happen? Let's check. It is throwing error stating data too long for column employee name at row 1, right? Very clearly it is giving us error message. If we did anything wrong also, we will understand easily. Data too long for column employee name. In employee name column, data is too long to enter because we already defined the size as 10 characters only. We are entering more than 10 characters, right? Like that. Okay. Next, let's see about alter command. Here in alter, we have 5 use cases. Okay, let's see one by one. First use case of alter is that use it to add any, use it to add new column to the existing table. Okay, suppose I already created the table, then just now I realized that I am expecting one more column in that table. So previously what we did while creating the table itself, I defined all the column names. Here I defined some 4 column names. I created the table, I inserted the data. Later I realized I wanted to add one more column in this table. So at that time what we need to use, we need to use alter command. Let's see the syntax. That is what I wrote. Alter is used to add new column to the existing table, to the already created table. If you wanted to add new column, we can add by writing the syntax like this: alter table name, add, okay, column, column name, and the data type. So inside alter, I'm saying that I'm altering the table and I'm giving the table name. I'm saying I'm going to add column and we need to give the column name. And every time whenever we are, defining column, we need to define the data type as well. Okay. Now let's add alter table. Table name is employees. Okay. Let me add a column. Add column. Column name, maybe I'll add it as bonus column. Okay. For bonus column, maybe some column in employees table, so I'm taking it as bonus. Okay, maybe, or else if employee, okay, bonus is fine. For that maybe I'll use float data type. Okay, like this we need to add a column. Let's see, I'm selecting these lines, I'm executing, it got executed. Now let's see the output. Select star from employees. You can see one new column we got, that is bonus. As I didn't inserted the data, I got null values here, but I created the column, right? I added a column in the existing table. This is how we will use alter command. And as I said, we have 5 use cases for alter. This is the first use case. And second use case is that alter is used to remove any column from the existing table. Okay. Not only adding a new column, if I don't want any column also from the existing table, then also I can use alter command only. And the syntax will be alter table, table name. Now I need to use a keyword called as drop. For adding a new column, we will use add keyword inside alter. Okay. For removing a column, we will use drop keyword inside alter. Previously, when we use drop, whenever we wanted to remove complete table, we used drop table table name, right? Now what is our requirement? We want to remove only column. So we will say drop inside alter. We will use drop column name. Okay. While adding only, we need to define the data type. For while removing, no need, right? So I'll write it as alter table. My table name is employees. Then I'll say drop column name, maybe bonus, whatever we created just now. Let me remove that column and let's check. I'm selecting, I'm executing. Okay, now let me display the data once again by using select star from employees. See, bonus column is removed, right? Like that. This is the second use case. Clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Now third use case, let's see. Use it to add, use it to change actually, use it to change data type for the existing column in the table. Okay, I already created the table. While creating the tables, will define columns, and while defining columns, we will define some data types. Then while working, I realized that I want to change the data type. Okay, at that time also we will use alter command. For example, in employees table, we used char for employee name. Just now we understood about the difference between char and varchar, right? If we use char, our memory is being wasted. Then I realized that I wanted to change that char data type to varchar. Okay, now again we need to use alter command only, and the syntax will be alter table name. Here I need to use a keyword called as modify. For adding, add keyword. For removing, drop keyword. For changing the data type, I need to use modify keyword. Okay, modify column name, new data type. Okay, like this we need to give alter table name is employees, modify column name, maybe employee name column. I wanted to give varchar of 10 as a new data type, right? That is what we can write. Not only data type, if sometimes if we wanted to change the size also, we can change. Suppose after creating like this, then I realized I want to increase the size, then I will write the same line and I will increase the size to maybe 30, like this. Okay, to increase the size also we will use the same command. To completely changing the data type also we will use the, not only increase, to change the size, to change the data type, we can use the same command. Okay, so let me select, let's execute. It got created. Right, now let's observe here. For now we have char. Let me refresh. We can check we got varchar data type, right? Like that. Sometimes if we need date of joining, if I wanted to change date to date time, for employee ID into to float, like that, whatever it is, we can change. This is the third use case. And now the fourth use case is that alter command is used to rename column name. Okay, we created the column, and then I realized that I wanted to change the column name. I don't like any column name, or if there is any spelling mistake, if completely I wanted to change the column name, then also I need to use alter command only, and the syntax will be like alter table name. Okay, here I need to use the keyword called as rename column. I need to say the keyword called as column because I'm renaming column here, and then I need to say old column name to new column name. That's it. Okay, so I'll write it as alter table name is employees. Okay, I'll use rename column, maybe I'll write it as, we have date of joining, right? Date of joining to, I'll just simply keep it as dog. I'm just changing this particular date of joining column name to dog. So here you can see we have date of joining. Let me select this. Let's execute. It got executed. Now let me refresh. I got dog, right? Like that. If you want to rename the column name also, we need to use alter command only. Okay, this is about the fourth use case. So what is the first use case? It is used to add a new column name, right? For that we will use add keyword inside alter, and we will add a new column name. Along with that we will define a data type. Second use case is that to remove the column name for the in the existing table. If you want to remove any column, then also we will use alter command only. We will use drop keyword inside alter to remove the column name, right? Drop column, yeah, bonus. So third use cases to change the data type. If I wanted to change the data type, I need to use modify keyword inside alter like this. And the fourth one is to rename the column name. To rename the column name, I need to use rename keyword inside alter. So whatever we learned so far, all the syntaxes are same for each and every database. It can be Oracle SQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL. All the syntaxes are same except this one. Okay, this is only, modify keyword is only available in MySQL. So suppose if you wanted to change the data type of the existing column for the existing column in other database, something like SQL Server, you need to write the syntax like this. There alter keyword is not available. You need to write alter table name. Again alter I need to say. Instead of modify, again I'll use alter, and then I'll say column name new data type. Okay, so only this one we have a change in other databases, whether it is Oracle SQL Server. Modify keyword is not available there. We need to use alter. In MySQL only we will use modify. This is one of the change in other databases. Remaining all syntaxes are same in every database. Okay, like that. So we are done with 4 use cases, and we have one more, that is fifth use case. That is nothing but alter command is used to add primary key for the existing table. I already created the table. For the table, if I wanted to add primary key, again I need to use alter command only. But for now we didn't discussed about the primary key concept, so at this point of time I'm not explaining this point. Whenever maybe in couple of days we will see about integrity constraints, there we will discuss about primary key. There only I will explain about this point. Okay, but this is the fifth use case. Even to add an primary key for the existing table also, you all suppose here I already created employees table, but here I didn't define primary key. Now if I want to define primary key, if I want to add primary key to the existing table, I need to use alter command only. Okay, we will discuss about this going forward. So these are all the use cases of alter. Clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. SQL is actually very easy only, but you need to practice. Okay,
Ma'am, without alter, we can't use rename, drop commands, keywords.
we can use, but if we wanted to change columns, we need to use like this. Normally if I use drop, normally where I can use drop to remove the table completely. I can use drop table name. Likewise, rename also. If I want to rename the table name, I'll use rename table, old table name to new table name. But if it is column, I need to use inside alter only. I need to use rename and drop.
Okay.
Okay, for the column, if I want to change for the table name, then directly I will use rename table, which we will see now. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So next command is truncate. Okay, one more important command. Truncate is nothing but it is used to remove complete data from the table. Complete data inside the table, but structure of the table will remain same. Structure of the table will remain same. Okay, so whenever I wanted to remove only data inside the table, but I want the same structure of the table, then I'll use truncate. So what is this? Let me show you an example. So for that, again, let me create one more time employees one table. So I'm creating this table. Okay, I'm inserting some data and let's check. Suppose I'm displaying select star from employees one. Okay, now I have some data in this. Okay, suppose now I wanted to remove the complete data from the table at a time. Okay, I wanted to remove all the 4 rows, complete data from the table, but I want the same table structure. Table structure in the sense the table name and the column name, employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, and the data types. That is whatever we get by using the create command. By using create command, what we will do basically, we will give the table name, we will define the columns, and we will define the data types, right? So this will be as it is. This will call it as table structure. Okay, if I want the same table structure, suppose in for example, in real time, whenever I'm working, my client wanted me to remove this complete old data, and he is giving me some new data, and he wanted me to insert that new data to the same table. As I'm saying same table, my columns will be same, the table name will be same, only I wanted to change the data. So at that time, what I'll do directly, there are two methods. Okay, anything is fine. We have two methods here. First, directly I can use truncate. What I'm saying, whenever I use truncate, complete data will be removed, but the table structure will be as it is, right? So let's see first. The syntax for writing truncate is, using truncate is truncate table name, simple. So I'll write it as truncate table employees one. Okay, if I use like this, if I'm executing, it got executed. Now if I'm trying to display the data by using select command, see, I got the blank table because I just now used the truncate command on employees one. So all the data, that is 4 rows of the data, got removed, but the table structure is same. Column names only we can able to see. By default at the backend, data types will also be there. Okay, but the table will be removed. Now what I can do, I can use insert command and I insert a new data, right? So I said we have two methods, right? First method is that, let me write this at the bottom. So whenever, suppose as my client said to remove the old data and insert some new data, I have two methods. First method is that either I can use truncate. If I'm using truncate, the old data will be removed at a time, and then I will use insert to insert the new data. Okay, and the second method is that I can drop the table. So the table will be dropped completely, then I need to again create the table and I need to insert the data. This is also correct, but here we need to use 3 commands. Instead of that, directly we can use 2 commands, right? Only because if the table structure you want as it is, no need of dropping and creating once again. Only simply directly truncate you can use. Data will be removed, table structure will be as it is, then again into the same table structure you can insert some new data, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is about truncate. Next we have rename command. This is used to change table name. If I wanted to change the table name, then I can use rename command, and the syntax will be simple. Directly I can say rename table old table name to new table name. Okay, let's see. Suppose rename table employees 1 is there, right? Let me change that table name employees 1 to maybe EMP. Okay, let me refresh. I'm having employees and employees 1. I'm changing employees 1 to EMP. Okay, here to change the to rename the table name, I'll directly use rename. No need of using alter. Only to change the column name, we need to use alter, and inside alter, we need to use rename. Okay. Now it got executed. Let's check. If I'm refreshing, I got EMP and employees because my employees 1 table is renamed with EMP. Okay. Now if I just display the EMP data, I'll get some blank table because in employees 1, previously we used trunket and the table is blank, right? Like that. This is about rename command. So with this, we are done with DDL commands. Okay. Create, use it to create the table. Drop, whenever we don't want the complete table, we will just use drop command. Then the table will be removed completely. Alter, we have 5 use cases, which we discussed already. If you want to add a new column, if you want to remove a new column, if you want to change the data type, if you want to rename the column name, and if you want to add a primary key for the existing column, then you will use alter command. Truncate in the sense it will remove the complete data inside, but the structure will be as it is. Rename in the sense renaming the table name, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. This is about DDL commands. If you have any doubts on this topic or any other, generally also if you wanted to know any questions, you can ask me. If everything is fine, I'll start on explaining about DML.
Ma'am, if we do some query on this SQL, so it doesn't reflect in the employees table or here without refreshing it.
I mean, here, if you wanted to see, you can refresh.
Okay, without
Okay,
refresh
or
it
else
doesn't work.
normally, yeah, without refresh, it will just show us the older thing. Okay, or else if you
Okay.
want to see the output, you can use select command. Or else if you close this
Okay.
workbench and tomorrow if you open again, you can see the new data only. But whenever we are working, if you wanted to see the changes here, you need to refresh. Then only the changes will affect there.
Okay, ma'am.
Like that. Next we have DML commands, and we have 3 commands in it, that is insert, update and delete. Okay, 3 commands we have under DML. So first of all, insert command, which we already discussed yesterday, right? So use it to insert the data inside the table, use it to insert the data inside table. So I'm not repeating again. Okay, which we already discussed, right? Insert into table name. Values is a keyword which we need to use, and then we need to enter the values like this, right? That is about insert. By using insert, we will insert data or new rows into the table. Okay, then update. One more important commands, I can say update and delete are important. So of course all the commands are important, only every command we will use in real time very frequently, especially this first first 2 types and the last one, DDL, DML, DQL, we will use in real time very frequently. So what is update command? I already inserted some data. Now I realized that I did some mistake. I wanted to change the data. Then I can use update. Or else, suppose I got some, new data in the sense I already inserted the data. Now my client send me some data to change. Okay, for the existing data only, he send me some, he, some other data, some updated data. For example, employees table is there. Currently, for one of my employee, his salary is 50,000. Maybe he got hike and his salary is changed to 75,000, something like that. Then definitely we need to update that particular data, right? If I did any spelling mistakes, if I did any errors while inserting the data, or else if the data got changed, we need to use update command. Okay, use it to update or change the data inside table. Okay, for example, I'll write it as select star from employees. We have employees data. Let's check that. Suppose we have some 4 rows of data. Okay, now here maybe last row Priya is there, right? For this employee ID 4 I have 70,000. Okay, but maybe I did some mistake here. The actual salary of Priya is 80,000, or else just now the salary got increased for her. Her salary changed to 80,000. Now I wanted to change this 70,000 to 80,000. Then obviously I need to use update command. So how I need to write in the sense, I'll write it as update table name. Okay, let me write syntax first. Update table name, set column name is equals to value. Okay, so instead of that I'll write the example. I'll write it as update employees is our table name, and I'll say set salary is equals to 80,000. Okay, so if I execute these 2 lines, what will happen? Any guesses?
It will update to 80,000.
Yeah, 80,000, but actually what will happen? The data will change to 80,000 in all the rows, because I'm saying that I wanted to change Priya's data, but here I'm not mentioning anywhere that I'm going to change Priya data. I'm just saying go to employees table, update and set the salary to 80,000. If I execute these 2 lines of code, all the rows, how many rows I have? If here I'm having only 4 rows, all the 4 rows in every row, salary will become 80,000. So but what is my requirement here? I want to change only for this particular person. So I need to mention that as a condition here. So to mention the condition in SQL, we will use where clause. Okay, I need to say where employee ID is equals to 4. If I write like this, then only for particular wherever employee ID is 4 is there, on that row only salary will become 80,000. Okay, this is very important. We should not forget using where clause whenever we use update command, and of course going forward we will have delete command also. For delete also, what exactly we want to delete, we need to mention inside where clause. If you forget using where clause in update command and delete command, all the data will be affected. Okay, so first of all let's try to understand about where clause. Where is a clause in SQL. Actually where clause is used to give conditions. In SQL, if we wanted to give some conditions, we will use where clause. Inside where only we will give the conditions. Okay, give conditions, and accordingly the data will be updated, deleted or filtered. That is, if I use where in update command, according to that condition the data will be updated. If I use where in delete command, according to that condition the data will be deleted. And if I use where in select command, basically why we will use select command? To display the data. But if I don't want to see the entire data, I want to see any specific data, then I need to use that condition in where. Okay, so according to that condition the data will be filtered, which we will learn going forward. Actually we have a separate concept on clauses and operators where we will solve many examples on the where clause. But for now just understand one thing, whenever we wanted to use some conditions we will use that inside where. Here my condition is that only for employee ID 4 I wanted to change the salary, not for all the employees. So that is what I wrote. I wrote where employee ID is equals to 4. If you write where employee name is equals to Priya is also correct only, no problem. But why we will use this column? In the sense, generally logically if we think also, in company we will have our own employee ID. Employee ID cannot be same for 2 persons, right? Whereas names can be same. We can have two Priyas also in our company, right? We can have duplicate data in other columns, but our employee ID will be unique. So every time whenever we are using where clause, we need to use unique columns only. If example in my database, if I have two Priyas and if I say where employee name is equals to Priya, for the two rows the data will be updated, right? So that is the reason we will prefer to use ID columns in where. So now let me change, let me execute this. It got executed. Now let's check. Select star from employees. You can see I got 80,000 here for employee ID 4, right? Like this we will use update command. So every time whenever we need to use update, we should be very careful about this where clause. Okay. So now let me give you one more example. Give every employee 10% salary bonus. And add that bonus column and add that bonus column into the table. Okay, this is my question. My requirement is that, my question is that for each and every employee in the employees table, I wanted to give 10% salary bonus and I want to add bonus column also in the employees table. Okay. So let's see how I'm going to write. First, let me add a bonus column. To add the column, already I'm having employees table. For the existing table, if I want to add a new column, what command we need to use? Alter, right? Perfect. Alter command we will use, right? I'll write it as alter table, table name that is employees. I'll say add column, column name is bonus, and I'll give the data type maybe as float. Okay, like this. So first I'm adding this particular column. So the column got added. Let's check. Select star from employees. Okay, now I wanted to add the data, employees data. Bonus data. What I'm saying, I wanted to give 10% salary bonus for every employee. So let me use update command here. I'll update. Update is, of course, change only. If you wanted to change old data only, we will use, or else if you wanted to update some data into the table, okay, their data is not available. I wanted to give the data. I want to update the data. Then we will use update only. Okay, update table name that is employees. I'll write set bonus is equals to 10% of salary I'm saying. So I can use the formula as 0.1 into salary, right? 10% of salary in the sense I can write like this, correct? Now I'm saying, observe the question carefully. I'm saying every employee I want to give the same condition, that is 10% salary bonus only. So here no need of using where clause, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Because every employee, my condition is same. I'm not adding for only some employees, so no need of where clause. The reason why I'm explaining this example in the sense, just to show you, it's not compulsory to use where clause in every time. Okay, according to the conditions we need to understand. Okay, if the condition is same for all the rows, then no need of where clause. Only for particular rows if we are updating, then we need to use a where clause. Okay, now simply I can execute this. Let's check the data. Now we can see I got 10%, 60,000 in the sense 10%, 6,000. Like that, I got 10% of the salary as bonus. Okay, like that. Accordingly, we need to decide whether to use where clause or not. Okay, this is about update command. Mostly we will use where clause in real time. Okay, but accordingly sometimes if the condition is same for all the rows, at a time for all the rows, if you wanted to update something, then no need of using where clause. Okay, this is about update. Next we have delete command. I'll explain it in the tomorrow's class. Okay,
Ma'am, update and alter commands are work on different set of means update works on data and alter works on column. Is it like that?
Yes, like that only. If you can observe, by using alter, what we are doing, we are adding a column, right?
Hmm.
We are changing the data type of the column, we are removing the column, we are renaming the column. Whereas DML commands, not only this update, actually, if you observe, DDL commands mostly work on the structure of the data. Here
Okay.
we are creating the table, drop in the sense we are removing the table, alter in the sense we are making some changes on the columns of the data of the table.
Hmm.
Truncate
Not
in
in
the
the data.
sense, yeah, truncate in the sense here also table structure is removing, changing actually. Data
Hmm.
only removing, but it is affecting the table structure, right? Here again renaming the table. Whereas DML commands works on the data inside the table. DML, where is
Got it, ma'am.
okay? DML three commands we have: inserting the data, updating the data, deleting the data, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So tomorrow will be our last demo. I'll explain about delete and the remaining commands in tomorrow's class. Okay. Any questions?
Ma'am, when we will get this recording and also the notes?
Uh, on Monday, actually. Okay. From Monday, our regular classes will start. Whoever will get registered for them, we will give the folder access. Okay.
Okay.
And recordings actually you will get in your mail. If you check, they will send you demo videos. There you can check the videos, but from Monday you will get it in your folder.
Okay.
Okay, but notes also I'll upload it on the Monday.
Okay, ma'am.
And on Monday, any one of you bring your laptop so that I can show you, or I mean, log in by using your laptop so that I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. If you wanted to do it, you can do it on your own. No errors we will get, or else I can show you on Monday. No problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And yes, the details is already provided in the chat box by our admin team about the registration. Just go through that. Okay. Okay, then let's meet in tomorrow's class.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye bye.